Hello, thank you for watching. My name is Katie Hubble and this is my collection project. Alright, so here's my mood board. So you can see that I do have some specific colors in mind. I had purple, green, and cream in mind specifically, and then I wanted to add some darker elements like black and navy. So that image with the candles, while I was planning my wedding, I mean, if I had like $1 million, that was what I already had in mind. So I wanted to kind of go off that image because it's been a lot of inspiration for me recently with the draping and the metal, the candlesticks, and just the color scheme. So you can see I also do have some metallics in there, silver, wanted to incorporate that somehow, and then also jewelry, jade beads specifically, just because that's one of my favorite colors, and again, I just love anything that kind of has a draping effect. All right, and then here is my collection. The company's called Opaline Couture, and it is a line of evening gowns. So first we have the one on the left. So it is a floor length gown, and it is primarily green and cream with silver accents. So the fabric, that is going to be crystal pleated satin in a cream color, very similar from the skirt in my mood board. That texture I really wanted to emulate in at least one of the gowns. And then that waist is green velvet. And then you can kind of see it, not really, but I tried to show the trimming around the waist and then also around the arms. There are silver cuffs of like actual silver that I wanted to incorporate. And then for elements of design, texture is a huge thing. That's probably one of the first things you really notice when you look at it, is the wavy kind of effect of the fabric. And then the shape of the sleeves is because of that fabric. So actually when you stretch out pleated fabric, I mean, it can really stretch. It's very voluminous and then when it's actually pleated together, it can really shrink down. So I wanted to take advantage of that fact. So you can kind of see the shoulders are kind of puffed up a little bit, little voluminous, and it would remain that whole way throughout the sleeves. It'd probably get really puffy and flowy if I didn't have those cuffs, because I really did want to be able to cinch the fabric in to keep it around close to the arms. So there are 4 cuffs going down the arms, and those are all silver. And then for principles of design, first we have proportion that's created by the cuffs to balance out the fluffiness of the fabric. And then for lines, like I said, because of the pleats in the fabric, it kind of lengthens the limbs, the legs, and the arms. And that is for the first one. Now the second one, we have another floor length gown, and it is meant to be like a lavender color, a darker purple waist wrap. And then the draping things around the waist and onto the floor, that is, those are jade beads on a string. So, and then, the purple fabric, that is meant to be silk. So for the elements of design, first off, the lines. So the waist wrap, that is 2 horizontal diagonal, and then the strings of jade beads also do kind of add to the lines. It's kind of asymmetrical, and that also plays into the details. Along with, we have at the back, you can see. So first I should talk about, so the sleeves, those are cap sleeves, and the collar is a mandarin collar. The back, there's a clasp, you can see, to be able to have that fabric close to the neck. You do kind of need a clasp, so you can see that on the back. For principles of design, we have informal balance, and that's because of it's a very asymmetrical dress because of that waist strap first off, and then the beads. It's not the same on both sides. And those elements also play into radiation because all those lines are kind of radiating out from the waist. And then for the third dress, we have, it looks a little more modern. That main part of the dress, the black part, is a black taffeta, and it's kind of like a bodycon. It has mock neck, and then the sleeves are cut off. So it's a very structured part of the dress, especially because of the taffeta. It's a very kind of thick, structured fabric. And then we have at the bottom, coming out of the hem of the black taffeta, is a cream chiffon. So it's a much more loose and flowing fabric, and you can also see through it. It's transparent. And the same material is used for that wrap around the shoulders. So it's kind of like an infinity wrap that goes around the shoulders. So for elements of design, we have texture. That's in the contrasting, very smooth, kind of tight part of the body, the black taffeta, and then the flowing cream chiffon. And then there are a lot of lines playing into this design because there are multiple horizontal lines because of the neckline, the hemline, and that scarf around the shoulders. And then I really like the shoulders. I like that part because we have the intersecting lines of the sleeves and then the scarf. And principles of design, we have emphasis of the shape because of those things I just mentioned. We have intersecting lines and then just the really close structure of that main body part. And then at the end, the cream chiffon really billows out. So that contrast, between the very flowy bottom versus the structured top. It's a very emphasized shape. And rhythm, for that reason, we have some opposition going on here because of the different textures of the fabric and the different uses of the fabric. All right, and then for the rest of the information about the company, Opaline Couture, this collection is unique because it is wearable high fashion line for any black tie event. It combines styles with inspiration from nature and different cultural sources for a modern combination of textures and colors. And I believe the fashion industry needs new, fresh gown designs that appeal to those with more unique and minimalistic, but it does have some ornamental details. So who is wearing this collection? So there are options, I would say, for young women and then maybe even some mature women. I kind of imagine like a mother of the bride kind of gown when I look at some of these designs. And this would be for upper class. The price point is designer. And for stores that would be carrying this line would be kind of like a Neiman Marcus or online luxury retailers. For merchandising, that would be like trunk shows, private client events, and runway to retail. The budget. So I would think to make a dress like this would be about $1,000 to $1,500. Sourcing, so stones such as I did jade, metals such as silver. So I would think those would be kind of more difficult to source, also depending on if you want to go with the real stuff versus like plated, for example. And then the fabric, I didn't really choose anything too crazy, so that would be relatively easy. I would think the skilled labor, though, would be most likely pretty difficult to come by, so that would definitely add to the cost, especially for having those different elements like the stones and the metal. That would probably be a much more higher price point for that kind of skill set. All right, and that is my collection. Thank you for watching.